everyone. Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of the Back to the TARDIS podcast, the podcast where we take a look at every single episode of the 2005 revival of BBC's Doctor Who. I'm Jeff.
Hello, I'm Aurora.
And I'm Saturn.
And this week we are discussing Series 9, Episodes 3 and 4, Under the Lake and Before the Flood by Toby Whithouse. I know I said last week that it felt like we were getting very RTD core. This is RTD core. I felt like it has absolutely very little to do with it, but it very much kind of felt like in atmosphere, it kind of felt like a sequel to Impossible Planet all the way back in Series 2.
I was just about to say, yeah, it's like, it feels like if Impossible Planet Satan Pit is like the gold standard for New Who based Under Siege, then this definitely earns the silver, you know?
Is this a base Under Siege?
Yeah.
I don't know if it...
Yes. Okay. Well, okay, so here's the thing.
What's the base Under Siege?
Well, no, so here's the thing. I think it does earn that by the fact that the first episode is very trad base Under Siege. The second episode is not. But the first episode definitely counts.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, is it really Under Siege when they've already been penetrated? Okay, fine. Yes, it's base Under Siege.
Splitting hairs. Splitting hairs harder than JXC.
Base semicolon.
Yeah.
Under Siege.
Yeah. And just like I you know, some of this may have been because this was like the first one in a while that I actually popped up on my TV. But I was looking at this thing and being like, God damn, this episode looks immaculate.
It's so good, and it makes some things work that you wouldn't think would work. Like there were shots of the Fisher King in the second episode where he looks hokey as hell, like walking around, but it works for some reason. Like he looks out of place in a way that works, and I don't know how they did that.
Classic Doctor Who.
It shouldn't look good, but it doesn't look good, but the way it doesn't look good feels right.
It's good classic creature effects. You're like, yeah, that's a tall guy in stilts in a suit, but it's a really well done tall guy with stilts in a suit. Yeah.
It's a really good suit.
Whose like vocalizations and like screams were made by fucking Faith No More Mr. Bungle frontman Mike Patton.
But yeah, I definitely agree with...
I was astonished to learn that. I think someone on the server pointed that out, and I was like, what the fuck? Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was thinking of something else. I was thinking of the fucking, oh my god. No, I was thinking of, I think it's like the zombies in Left 4 Dead 2 are voiced by Mike Patton. Wrong metal vocalist. It's Corey Taylor.
Rip. Fake news. But yeah, I agree with Saturn. There's a lot of stuff that looks like it's like right on the line of this is stupid, derogatory, and this is stupid, complimentary. It's like it rides that so
the line
hard.
that all good Doctor Who should, well, not all, a lot of good Doctor Who should ride.
A line that RTD Core perfected and somehow did not perfect at the same time. As it was written. But yeah, just like even the people with like their eyes like blacked out, especially when because we see Capaldi so much during his tenure, obviously, that even when it's on him, it's hokey and ridiculous as fuck, but it's also like badass.
No, he just looks like a current touring member of The Cure. It's fine, it all works out.
Yeah, good point.
The fucking
Cure's good.
The reveal.
They should have gotten like, Robert Smith for this episode.
The sort of like middle reveal about like what the ghosts are saying, that it's coordinates, is so fucking it's so dumb, but I love it so much. Like what is it? The sword, the fuck, I forget what the order
Yeah,
is, but it's
yeah,
just like
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like there's no way nobody would figure there's no way nobody would understand that, but I'm just like that's so cool that I don't care anyways.
Yeah, it works. Fuck it, it works. It just works, Todd Howard. Um man, making that joke this week feels real bad. I take that ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, okay.
We also have, I mean,
uh,
I'm not I'm not deaf, but we also have, at least to what I know, some like passable deaf representation for a side character.
yeah, very notable that they I think it is. I don't want to play like representation tag, but this is better than most of the stuff that Chibnall has tried to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, I don't know British Sign Language, and I don't know the abbreviation, but you know it looks, I'm 99% sure that that actress is deaf. So
No, I'm hold on. Yes,
yeah,
she is.
so you know it's
Yeah, I mean
something.
she's really good. She's such a good actress too.
Yeah.
I mean like
Yeah.
that's the thing of it, like all are close to all of the like side cast in this is so solid. And you're right, it really does resemble Impossible Planet in that regard because you have like a solid cast of like five side characters or five or so. I don't
Yeah.
remember the exact amount, but it's like, and they all get a thing. Like they all
Yeah.
get a thing.
And it's not like, I mean, it is a little bit paint by numbers thing, but it works in a way better than, like, again, I hate to do this, but Chibnall like side characters get. Like, no shit, there's the company guy. The setup that we have here is basically like the main characters from Alien minus the android. But like um yeah, no, exactly. And they don't like, at no point is there a moment where like the disabled, like I don't even think there's a moment where the episode basically takes the deaf character and goes, "Oh no. Oh no, look behind you. Oh no, he has AirPods in. Oh shit. Oh fuck."
Well, no, there is a moment of that, but she like
Oh,
gets out
okay.
of it herself. Like remember
Yeah.
when the ghost is behind her like dragging an axe,
Oh
but
yeah.
she
Yeah.
bends
My
down and touches the
apologies.
floor
I
and feels
watched
it.
this a week ago.
Yeah, we all
Yep.
did. And then she bends down, and then the guy swings the axe, and she like dodges behind him and runs away.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I
But
mean
she survives to the end of the episode.
oh yeah, and she's so she's really pretty too.
Yeah.
The important
I felt that was a necessary addition.
hard-hitting
Yeah.
commentary. But yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, the side characters, I guess, you know, representation tag aside, they aren't like anything particularly groundbreaking, but it's like they're not just two-dimensional characters, they're probably like 2.5 dimensional, but it's enough that like when they interact with the story, Clara and the Doctor, it doesn't feel like you could just replace these side characters with, you know, anyone else. You know what I mean? It's like it's enough where it's just like, yeah, these people fit in this episode and no other episode. I feel is like
Yeah,
is
and
Yeah.
like
I
the
mean,
criteria
Cass's
you want to meet.
characterization is so strong.
Yeah. And I may have already mentioned this, but of course, because we are in not only Moffat Who, but Capaldi era Moffat Who, this episode is fucking visually immaculate.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Just looks so goddamn good.
yeah. Just those
Like
those blues. It's all
yeah,
the blues.
the bass is fucking tasty.
And then you get to the town, and it's all like it's still blue, but it's like blue gray now. And you're
Yeah.
like, yeah, boy.
Yeah.
The town is so like the town just has vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like on some level I can understand that some would say that set looks cheap, but it just looks so right. It's like the same thing of like my love for the like PS1, PS2 visual aesthetic of games where it's like, yes, this isn't the highest fidelity thing, but there's just something about the vibes.
It's
There's something
stylized.
about the vibes. Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking at the direct.
Just looks.
I'm
Ooh.
looking at the director now, and it seems he's only directed like this story of these 2 episodes, which I don't.
Huh, I thought that would have been I thought this was a Talalay episode, to be
No,
honest.
yeah, that's what I was just checking. I was just like, is this when we start getting the Talalay bangers? And we may have already had some.
No, that's Heaven Sent.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, it's
What else did she direct? I think she did like more than that. It was Heaven Sent. Oh, no, just Heaven Sent and Hellbent this season. That's right. She gets every Capaldi season finale.
as she should.
Which is why those also all look visually immaculate. Oh yeah, one of those fucking the coward race guys shows up again.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I completely forgot that one of those showed up again.
I remember that. Did they show up again after this? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
It's a nice.
Or if they do, it's something really minor.
Yeah, it's a nice bit of.
I mean, I think he works here.
Yeah.
I think he works here. He's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just these 2 stories and Gug Complex. Yeah. Yeah. And I also like as I already kind of mentioned this, but I think it's really cool how essentially the first episode of the part essentially goes, okay, we are going to do a fairly standard base under siege story. Like it's you've seen it before, it's nothing too crazy. Then they go, okay, so what we're going to do here is instead of like doing a normal base under siege episode 2, we're going to completely split the cast up and have one of them go to a completely different time period than the first one and have it all loop back together. And it once again, every single time the show fucking does shit like this, it just reminds me of like, oh yeah, this is like a time travel show. And it feels like this show, like there a lot of times they don't leverage that as much as they should.
They really don't. And I think that's a big reason why this episode sticks out so much is because, I mean, yeah, because of the time travel, and it allows them to do some interesting time shenanigans. Can I just say, I in general love Capaldi's cold opens. Like,
Yes.
they're a thing that you don't get with any other Doctor, and he does them so fucking well because they're so 12 to just be like that much of a dramatic little bitch about everything. And the one that opens the second episode is so much fun.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's actually him playing over the opening. That's
Oh,
him.
wow.
Yeah.
Man can shred. Yeah, I think this episode, I don't know, looking back on this season, I was kind of dreading it in some ways because there's the whole, like, hybrid thing, and as of yet, I'm still a hellbent, maybe not a hater, but, like, I'm skeptical. But stories like this show me, like, how this, like, having almost all the episodes, all the stories be 2-parters, it's like, this is a good result of that, because it just gives you more time to play not just with like having breathing room in the story, but taking old tropes of Who and being able, not just of Who, but being able to like manipulate them and put them like further in the niche of like really exploring what Doctor Who can do as a show. And I think that's neat.
Mm-hmm. And I think also I kind of want to shout out how, like, we talked about how much Eight's character clearly changes from series 8 to here. And I think here is a really good example of them getting the balance right on kind of what his deal is, and sort of the balance between basically being like, because we talked about last season of like how it worked, but there were some moments where it's like, geez, dude, you're being fucking jackass. Lay
The
off the r
cards
slash
moment.
atheism, man. Yeah, exactly. The
The
cards moment
cards
is what I
moment.
think of like, oh, they got it exactly right. Because when it's led into, it's not led in out of him being like a jackass. It's him legitimately being so excitable about the concept of ghosts existing that he kind of has like his little autism moment and forgets like, oh, wait, right, people died.
It's such a good little. He's such an autism coded little shoddy, and I just fucking love that Clara is like his autism mom, and she's like, "Come on, sweetie, pull out your cards. Let's read your scripts." And he reads them so monotone. He's like, what does he say again? He's like, I am very sorry for the loss of your friend slash pet slash family, and I will do everything in my power to save them. And he just like tosses them away and launches right back into his shit.
Yeah. And it's like, I think I don't think that the way that he's portrayed in series 8 doesn't work. However, I think with where the character goes and exists in it, like the approach scene here is better handled.
Yeah,
significantly better handled.
I think, and this is true with a lot of like establishment, but series 8 was really just like, series 8 could have been the groundwork for a lot of different directions to take 12.
Yeah.
They legit could have just gone like older and angstier, basically done like 10 dialed up to like 20, or done like a first Doctor thing again. But it's like, it's legitimately different enough that now, not like when we get to series 9 and series 10 and we have like a better understanding of this character, we can be like, okay, they still hadn't figured out that yet. And seeing the card scene is like quintessential Autism 12 for me. It's like
Yeah.
basically the blueprint. It's the it's the blueprint. There's no other word to describe it, really.
And I think it's very much possible, because I remember when series 8 was airing, like there being mixed opinion on how 12 was handled in it. And I think it's entirely possible that Stephen Moffat like did actually take that feedback into account when doing this season.
And I think it's a case where like it works. I mean, I think it is a good direction for his character.
Yeah. Oh, side note, actually, speaking of Impossible Planet Satan Pit, I actually learned from a Twitter tidbit. So RTD basically said that he did extensive rewrites on most of the scripts he got as showrunner, with like obvious exceptions being like he didn't touch any of Moffat's very much. But like didn't put his name on. But he actually did say like, I should have put my name on Impossible Planet Satan Pit. I did a lot of work on that, and I really like how it turned out. So I can just literally directly attribute that to him. Which, I mean, to be fair, hold on. What's the, I'm pretty sure... Pretty sure the guy... Yeah, the guy that... Oh, no, never mind. Okay, I thought the guy that wrote it wrote Girl Who Waited, but no, he didn't. He wrote one of the Owen Death Arc Torchwood episodes. So, yeah. Anyways, back to Impossible Planet 2. Too Impossible 2 Planet. Yeah, it's just like it's so well paced too, and I think it manages to both make a good two-parter and two good 45-minute episodes that are linked.
Yeah. I mean, just it's crazy how, like, because you know, two-parters are notoriously rocky in New Who, and just this season was just like, what if we just did like 4 great two-parters, and
Yeah.
that's the season?
Yeah. And technically a 3-parter that we'll see how we end up on the end of it, but right now, at the very least, I personally think eclipses the previous 2-parter, previous 3-parter that was attempted.
What was?
Because we don't have fucking T-posing Jesus Doctor.
What wasn't? I thought the last 3-parter was like the was in series 3 with Utopia, and then
that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that one's bad, but it has weird dips in quality in places.
It's also like
and suffers from going way too high stakes and having to roll it back.
Yeah, and you know, in just sort of like contrasting with what we're talking about, as you said, this feels like 2-parters. No, this feels like 2 stories that work together as like a coherent whole, but they're also like separate stories, and I feel like it just shows the evolution of like this type of format, that like when they tried a 3-parter in series 3, it's like, okay, one of these kind of connects to the other, but only through a cliffhanger, and then the quality is like drastically like there's just like a vast gap.
I mean, technically series 9 does that too with Face the Raven.
Well, yeah.
It's just the quality is more consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also like a bigger setup through. Again, we may come to disagree and find different opinions when we're at the end, but it's like, I don't know, it's nice. It's clear that when they were planning this out, they were like, okay, we can't just do like a here's the beginning or here's the end of the season, here's a 2-parter, be hype. It's like, no, we have to keep the momentum going, which a lot of shows fail at. If we ever get to Star Trek, they basically started a policy in The Next Generation that they would write the first part of a like 2-part mid-series or final season finale, and then they wouldn't write the second part until later, because it worked for them once, and then basically every other time it didn't. So, you know, it's good that there's a diversity of tactics here that we're not seeing elsewhere.
Yeah, and I think like they very much could have gone and okay, we're going to do all 2-parters, and some of the 2-parters could, and I mean, they still might, we'll see, but I don't remember them feeling like this. They could have just ended up making shit that felt like overstuffed 45-minuters, Um, but I don't think that ever happened. And I think that's really that's a testament to how well this was all put together and thought through, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, we've sort of said before that like the trick to a good two-parter is you need to be able to have like each episode be its own sort of arc. And a big problem with a lot of two-parters is like they have like the reveal of the bad guy at the end of the first one, and then they're just kind of like in the middle of the action and need to stretch that out for another 45 minutes. Um, and we sort of said this last time that the reason that two-parter works is it sort of starts by resetting. Put all the characters back out, and then they need to work their way back in.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that in this here too, because it's sort of like, okay, we like. I mean, actually, they don't actually solve that much in the first episode. It's kind of just like figuring some basic shit out, and then they're like, okay, we need to go here. They do that, and then right away it's like there's the twist with the doctor's ghost showing up, and it's like, okay, so that's the cliffhanger. And then they're sort of working from there of like, okay, what are we going to do about like presumably the doctor is going to die. Yeah.
Uh-huh. I it's like
It's like an artificial ticking
brain
clock,
moment.
kind of.
Oh. Well, yeah. Well, and then I was going to say I think this episode really illustrates what I think a severely underrated or underconsidered part of writing like a really good Doctor Who story, and especially like a really good like two-parter that isn't a major finale is, which is mystery and suspense. Of the sense that a lot of the really really fantastic ones like Impossible Planet or Silence in the Library involve the doctor and their companion essentially just being spawned into a level and having to figure out what the fuck is going on from scratch. And I think what a lot of the really great stuff does is based on not just the quality of the reveals and the logic and the mystery, but how it's paced together.
Yeah.
Admittedly this is a rewatch bonus thing. On rewatch, I think when they pull out the suspended animation chamber in the first episode, I go, "Oh, I remember now." And that they were like essentially setting up that Chekhov's gun.
No, yeah, it's
Uh
genuinely satisfying, neat bit of writing.
yeah. And working with time loops can be hard as fuck to get
Yeah.
right.
Are there other time loop episodes?
Um, ki-
Blank.
kind of the
Eh,
Blink is a
the
time loop
the
if
the
you think
latest
about it.
kind of.
the latest well, I don't know if that's a time loop.
No, I'm not talking about time loop as in like Groundhog Day. I'm thinking
No, I know.
about
I
like
mean, just
the
like looping back
bootstrap
on your own time
paradox.
stream. I mean.
Yeah, the bootstrap paradox thing that they're talking about, which
Oh,
is
I'm talking
Blink.
more about like looping back on your own time stream.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, maybe not that as much. I was thinking in terms of stuff where it sort of creates this loop through nonlinear like interaction with time, which in that case, very much yes, Blink.
Yeah, for a second I was thinking of the recent Dalek episode where they like Phasmin baited. But yeah, that's a different type of time
Yeah, but
loop.
this episode, like, I even thought that episode was all right, and this episode stomps all over it. No contest. Um, but yeah, like the coming up with the coordinates, figuring out how the ghosts work, going back in time, figuring out what's going on there, doing a loop there, and uh I also, I have to say, you almost have like a Father's Day moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And but I really, and he heads it off, and I really like the little speech.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, this two-parter hits like the perfect spot of like it's it's good, bordering on great, but not in the way that like a human nature is. Like it's something that I can turn on and really enjoy and not need to pay that much attention to, but it's still great, and I don't need to be in like a very specific emotional mindset to be able to like watch it properly, you know? It's just it's just like really good TV. And you need
Yeah,
episodes like that in, or at least in my opinion, in a show like this.
yeah, like, and I'd honestly, like, I would go so far as, like, last week was good, but I'd say this week is, not to say that he hadn't even necessarily before, but that this week feels like the week where definitively, like, 12 has come into his own. It's like there were points where 12 was good before, but as mentioned, there was kind of that disconnect. And this is
Yeah.
really the moment where I feel like it all clicks, like,
Yeah, definitely.
certifiably.
And I think that works because sort of last episode is him having like a crisis moment and then like
Yeah.
finding who he is in that moment. And now it's sort of like, okay, he's established himself, he's had a major crisis, he's come back from it. Who is he now? And then we get to sort of like really see what he's about, and he embodies that well in this episode. And
Yeah.
he's the doctor who isn't gonna be great at caring about all the randos, but will do his best to help them and will
Yeah.
go the extra mile for Clara.
Yeah. It's like it feels very classic-ish in the sense of kind of getting too far, like it's very very Tom Baker in the sense of kind of considering like scientific implications over personal ones,
Yeah.
which, yeah, it's just it's so well done.
Yeah.
God damn.
It's very quintessential doctory too, because even if he's like reluctant or doesn't have the best social skills, like the doctor will still be the doctor even if he's not like charismatic like David Tennant, or even if he's not charismatic in a stupid way like Matt Smith. Like it's there's still that core to the character.
Just say himbo. I get what you were meaning there. It's a himbo. 11 is a
Yeah,
himbo.
that's true. And it's one of the things, again, I don't want to go off. I mean, I kind of do on how like on 13, and how I just like I never really get that from her. It's like,
The personality, yeah, the charisma of a plank of
well,
wood.
yeah, and I don't even know at this point if it's like more Jodie Whittaker or the writing, but the fact that like the closest I can come to like a moment that rivals like Capaldi like showing what he's about, it's like her saying like, I'm the doctor, I sort out fair play throughout the universe, and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Like,
Isn't that in like her first episode too?
you think I'd remember?
I can't remember. I can't remember if that's from Woman Who Fell to Earth or if that's from later.
It's probably, I don't know. It doesn't really matter for this, but it's like, it's more to the it's not that I don't like the idea of the Doctor having to figure themselves out and like find out why they do what they do, and not just assume that since it's been part of their character that it will continue to be so. And that's what makes Capaldi's character arc such a rewarding one, is that he doubts himself, and by now, even though he needs like cards and like positive reinforcement, he's still like comfortable in his skin. He still like knows what he's about. And 13 is just like, yeah, I'm being kind. I'm I'm doing the Doctor things. I have a screwdriver. Wee-hoo. Yeah.
It is the inherent emptiness of the writing of an era which I will at least say I appreciate. I sort of appreciate it for this, but it is an era that I think we can given the attitude that Chibnall has displayed in recent interviews in retrospect, and given what has been rumored in the sense of they had to come to him and ask him because everybody else turned them down, it is the era of doing the bare minimum to keep the lights on and the show running. Well, okay, maybe not the bare minimum. That's not fair. But it's very clear that it feels like, at least at the highest level of the showrunner, that their hearts weren't fully in it, and they were doing this more to make sure that the show didn't die than to actually do something with the IP.
Yeah.
And then you got the Return of the King, just
King.
like the books with, you know, the guys, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Mamma mia, I cook a cock ring."
Rabbits?
Um.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, it feels like it feels like the last 5 years have been an anime filler arc. And I'm not that well versed on anime filler arcs. So I'm just going to pick a name out of a hat based off of previous things that I have heard and hope that I get on the nail for particularly egregious anime filler arcs and go Bleach.
I know Dragon Ball is
I
pretty
have
enough.
no
notorious.
idea how right I am.
I know Dragon Ball's pretty notorious for that, but yeah, it's an issue across the medium. It's on one hand I want to be kind and say like, oh, this era, like towards the tail end it got hit with COVID, they had to pull a whole bunch of shit, and it's like, not to be unkind, making TV, even with like streaming being so ubiquitous and the industry like never having been more active, like that shit's hard. Stephen Moffat, like, he was running Sherlock, and that clearly like suffered, both shows suffered quality at the height of him, you know, double dipping his time and effort.
But one didn't crash and burn horribly. Hashtag we're the only standing show of Super Hulock. Get fucked, Tumblr.
Yeah. Yeah, wait until the Supernatural prequel comes out. That's gonna revive a whole bunch of bullshit.
No, it's not. Destiel becoming canon, and then and then Castiel going to super hell for being gay, like, momentarily brought it back, and then it fucking, like, crashed and burned again.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait,
I don't even know how we got here.
Guys,
but sure.
Guys, this is my final Chibnall special prediction. Yaz is going to go to super hell for being gay.
And it's gonna be the Doctor's fault.
A small price to pay for what will hopefully be the gayest era of Doctor Who ever.
It won't be
following
it won't be super hell. It'll be she'll go into the super void between dimensions, and then the end of her character arc is that she'll go.
Oh, so wait, like how Rose leaves, except Rose went through the void and popped out the other side. Yaz just gets
Well,
stuck
no,
there.
she eventually finds her way out, and she gets her gay happy ending, but it's in a universe where being gay is straight.
That inflicted psychic damage. So like the PragerU dimension.
And then she goes to be a gay parentheses straight cop again.
The last shot of Chibnall Who is her in her police uniform holding that. Did you see that fucking mug kicking around on Twitter where it's like in the Harry Potter font, my letter neighbor Tom, so I became a cop.
Can I just say that the Chibnall era is the Hufflepuff of New Who?
Fuck you. I mean, you're right.
As someone who called themselves a Hufflepuff back before all the bad shit happened,
yeah,
fuck you. But also, like,
it's.
You know I'm right.
It's like no, because it'll be fine. Because in the final shot, she'll be talking with a friend, and she'll be like, "No, I don't support cops going to straight pride." How do we get here?
The Chris Chibnall era of Doctor Who, truly Doctor Who's Mass Effect Andromeda.
So accurate. How the fuck did we get here?
I don't know. We just started shit talking Chibnall like we do every week, and it's still funny. So
2.5 years, everyone.
The show's just gonna have to end when he leaves. Like, yeah, we won't have any new content, and we won't be able to derive 15 minutes of the podcast to making fun of a mediocre showrunner. Not even bad, mediocre. Christ. Anyways, the RTD2 era will be like that one fucking Kino Fabino meme of Senator Armstrong from Metal Gear Rising going, "Pride Month, shit's gay all year round, son."
Accurate.
That's my closing statement on that. Anyways, I've talked about everything I have to talk about this episode. Y'all ready for ratings?
Yeah.
This is a banger episode of Doctor Who. I think this is the blueprint of, what a good Doctor Who two-parter, or like this goes up in sort of the my blueprint episodes of, like, you know, obviously you have your amazing super special mold breaking episodes like Human Nature or Silence in the Library or Midnight, or, you know, all of that. But this is, I think, one of those, like, this is how you do a good, no frills, no bullshit, just quality two-parter. Bonus points if it's a base under siege. Like this school reunion, though that's a one-parter, so this analogy. It's a good episode. It's a good episode. A+. I like Capaldi a lot as someone who is autistic.
So true. What can I add on to that? Yeah, this is I think this is a vital, like, piece in the Capaldi, like, character evolution puzzle tapestry, whatever, that is Peter Capaldi's 12. I don't know why I said it like that, but whatever. Fuck you. Make your own podcast. But Yeah, it's definitely in the high point of like good base under siege. I was really throwing a bone to the Almost People when I said it was a good base under siege, because it's really a different animal. This clearly gets the silver medal. It was very enjoyable, had great visuals, design, creatures, side character. Like it's so soy liberal of me to say it has a good diverse cast, but it does, and it's actually good. So I don't mind saying it. Um, yeah, this is series 9. I would dare say at its best. It's a solid 9.
I would say that this two-parter is tighter than a top's asshole. 9.5 out of 10.
That's presumptuous.
Who's the top in this case? Pick like anything.
Clara.
What? Yes.
Okay. Yeah, all right. All right. Next week, I'm not entirely sure how we're going to break this down. Because no, I think we will discuss both the girl who died and the woman who lived next week, because even though like production code wise they were treated as two separate episodes, they are more connected than some of the other stuff. So like they feel more connected than like Face the Raven and Heaven Sent Hellbent.
I assumed we were doing them together.
Yeah, so I think we'll probably do them together and just shotgun this shit. 2 weeks until Sleep No More, guys.
I'm going to ask you genuinely, do we have to watch that?
Yes. Because
I hate
here's
you.
Here's the thing. I've only seen that episode once, and that would have been at the time around the time that it came out. So that would have been almost a decade ago.
I just want you to know it's as bad as you remember, if not worse.
I know. I just need to see it for my own eyes again.
Yeah.
So, woohoo. Anyways,
It's genuinely just so boring.
Well, yeah, we'll see when we get there. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at B2TARDISPod. You can support us on Patreon for a number of benefits, such as early access to episodes, the ability to listen in live to episodes being recorded, and potentially even the ability to guest star upon an episode of your choosing. I'm Jeff. You can follow me on Twitter at WheatleyDL.
I am a trans woman who struggles with communicating emotionally, which is why I'm currently partnering with Doctor Who's autism. You can
So true, bestie.
For this Pride Month.
you can follow me, make more stupid jokes, as well as the rest of the system on Twitter at of mice and femmes.
I will be strangling Jeff in his bed tonight for making me watch Sleep No More again.
Yo, you can find a way to drive all the way from California to Michigan in a single night? Damn, that's impressive, bro.
Very carefully.
And we will see you all next week.